Welcome to the press conference pre-day of the match between the United States versus Trinidad and Tobago of the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup. Allow me to introduce at the main table the coach Mauricio Pochettino and Diego Luna of the United States. For your questions here in the audience, please raise your hand and introduce yourself with your name and your organization. The media that are present virtually can request a question by raising your hand by touching the virtual raise your hand button on the Zoom call. So we're going to begin with questions here in the room. We'll start with Paul Tenorio from The Athletic.
Hello. How are you? Hi, Diego. Mario said this one is for you. I wonder, first, your perspective. Christian said that he had offered to, or wanted to play in the two friendlies, and you wanted to keep one group. I wonder if you could confirm those conversations. But second, have you been surprised at how much attention, discussion has been focused on things separate from on-field, separate from the football, that there's been so much more that has maybe been a part of this job since you got here? Thank you.
Well, okay, to clarify a little bit what happened in the last few days, I think your first question, I think, is clear that we had some conversation. He contacted us with the possibility, to with the concern about how he explained about his was tired and was worried about different things, and then yes, we had some conversation, and it's true that he wanted to come, to be involved in the true friendly games, how he said. But I think it's common sense for us to be a roster to come with these two friendly games to prepare the World Cup, because for us the World Cup is an important tournament. Yes, not too much to add, because that was, I think, a private conversation in between during 3 months between him and us. And I think, yes, then our decision was not to bring him in the friendly game, because I think we are consequent with our decision. I think our decision was to prepare the World Cup and give the opportunity to the players that are going to be involved in the World Cup to prepare the tournament. I think, yes, now we need to move on, because all that what happened after that, I think, is a lot of noise, but it's not affecting us, because I think we are so focused in this World Cup. I think we are working really hard, despite of the result that were not too games to defeat. But I think too many positive things to take, because I think the players are learning, and we are learning also. And I think it's so important for us to provide these guys the opportunity to play against teams like Turkey or like Switzerland, with full of experienced player. That is going to be priceless, that experience. And then, because also it's a great opportunity for many of them to step up, knock the door, and say, why not? We can fight for a place in 1 year to be involved in the World Cup. Yes, when things looks like are maybe not so good, maybe appear another that are so positive. Always we are positive people. I want to reunite all the soccer here. I think we signed here because I think it was a great opportunity to challenge and to live an individual experience, but also to provide through our experience the possibility to be all together and really believe in the possibility to grow all together, creating our own culture, defending our culture, because that is a country culture. And I think we are not here to change culture, we are not here to give lessons, we are here to try to participate with an amazing country, with amazing players like Diego that I have next to me, to try to help them to grow. And that is a great opportunity, 2 friendly games, for them to compete with teams that play in a great level, and then now to face a tournament that we respect a lot, and we want to win, and we want to compete, and we start tomorrow. And I think it's so important now to be focused in the team, in the national team. The national team is over names, is over people, is over coaches, is over everyone, because I think the most important when you defend your flag is 200% always you need to be available, and I think players need to only think into be ready and to be available to be called. And for us is to dictate the plan, is to dictate the lines to follow, and we are here to take decision. And if you ask me about the first question, yes, it was my decision, it was our decision not to include in the 2 friendly games to Christian, and that's it. It was in our plan to bring him to play not only the 2 games, the friendly game, if not the World Cup. But in the moment that he contacted us with this situation, with that situation that he explained, I think our decision was, to go with the player that we need to play, because I think it's an obvious situation that that the plan that we decide and we think that is the plan that for us is the most important to execute. Yes, and now, like I said to you, important thing is to be focused in the competition tomorrow start. We were talking with the player. It's a great opportunity for us to enjoy the journey. But together we are enjoying a lot, despite the result, the last 2 games. But I think the energy and the motivation is there, and we are living an amazing time together. I hope on the end of this journey together we can lift a trophy that for sure well deserved, first for the players, and then for the country and for the fans to recover, the belief and recovery, that good energy, the good feelings that is important to in 1 year that we have an amazing opportunity in the World Cup, being a host of the World Cup, to be all together and enjoy about that.
Steve Goff from Washington Post. Mauricio, how do you analyze Tyler at the moment? You did not replace him on the roster, correct?
Yes.
And when do you think he would be ready to play? I assume not tomorrow, but what do you think the timetable is?
Yes, with Tyler, I think I am so happy with him. His very commitment, his commitment and everything that he's doing in the last days. I think it's important for the group. He's an experienced player that help a lot to the young guys that are with us, and he wants to be involved and see if the doctor will allow him to be tomorrow. It's true that in the last few days it was difficult for him because it was really painful, his problem in his foot. But yes, I think he's at the moment today was training a little bit and he's close to be available again. Hope that can be available tomorrow and help the team.
Hi, Mauricio. Ryan Tolmich from Goal. I kind of want to follow up on that just because you have such an interesting midfield here with or without Tyler, and so many different guys with various different experience levels and styles and everything like that. So when you look at the midfield, whether or not Tyler does play, how do you kind of assess that group, and how do you think that you can line that group up in this tournament depending on the opponent?
I don't understand the question.
Sorry, Ryan, could you repeat? I was distracted. I apologize.
Obviously, there's a lot of different midfielders in this group with different levels of experience with Tyler in one part, and then you have guys like Sebastian Berhalter with very different experience levels. When you look at that group, what are your sort of expectations and asks of that group, given all of the different styles and the different types of games that you're going to play in this tournament?
Expectation of yes, yeah, but soccer is soccer, football is football, and I think it's good to have different options, in the midfield. It's true that today, like you saw, Johnny was sick and he train and see if tomorrow can be involved or no. And I think we have another player that maybe with different characteristics, but it's not going to change our mind. I think they are here because they deserve to be here, and we really trust. And sometimes we pick one or another, depending on what we expect from the team or what we want to do. But I think Sebastian or Patch or different players like also Malik or Tillman or Luca de la Torre. I think they have the characteristics of to play in different. Yes, they can be a number 8, more box to box, or with the possibility more freedom on the pitch, but also can be positional and be like a holding midfielder like Taylor Roshoni. I think it's all in your mind. I think when you play soccer, I think all is about your attitude. I saw one picture yesterday that made me to laugh. It's mentality is everything, and then it's about that. It's about belief, and that is the most important thing. Because these guys are so intelligent and they have the capacity. Also, Diego can play holding midfielder if he want. He can play, yes, offensive, but he can defend better than some defensive. That was the possibility. With Messi in training, yes, that was great doing goals and everything, but every time I was defending 1v1, impossible. I said, too many things like this, that all is about what happened in your mind, is your mentality. That is the most important thing, and then it's about to deliver.
Two questions for me. The first one regarding the game tomorrow. You talk about belief. For a team that's lost 4 games in a row, morale maybe not great. It's always important to win the first game of a tournament, but how important is it tomorrow to win, not just for the points, but for the spirit, for the belief in the group? And second question, just to follow up on Paul, there were a few things Christian said in his interview that stood out. He said he did.
It's possible to go 1v1 because if not,
Just ask
it's
one
better
question at a time.
first question and then the second.
Okay.
If you can,
Perfect.
because
Okay.
I'm so good. The first question is the capacity of the player in soccer, in football, is move on quick, and then the circumstances are not the same circumstance in March than now. And of course, the context is completely different. That is why, if you are in a team, in a club, and you play 4 games or league games and you lose, I think can affect your maybe no motivation, but it can affect your emotion, can affect things like you can. But this group is new. It's nothing to do with March. It's completely different, and we were competing really well against teams that with more experience, and they are doing really well. I think it's impossible to compare. The team is really in a very good level now in all the areas. I am so happy, and it's not going to be affected. We are focusing the World Cup that is completely different, to play a friendly game. And
The second question, to follow up on Paul's question about Christian, in his interview he said a couple of interesting things. One, he didn't understand the decision to only have him, or to not have him in at all, not for the 2 friendlies. And he said that you haven't spoken very much. Well, what's, just for fans maybe who are wondering, what's the relationship like between the best player in the program and the head coach? What is the relationship with Christian now?
no, player don't need to understand or not understand. Players need to listen and to stick with our plan. They cannot dictate the plan, because if not, okay, we invert we swap the position. No, that is it's obvious that, but it's nothing, that is a detail that for me is not important. But the most important thing is that we explain why we decide not to include in the 2 friendly game. And then, if you have some problems, that is not my problem to understand or not understand. I think it's so clear that we say we want you to start training with the group, 2 friendly games, and that happened now with Serginho Des. It's up to us after to assess, to analyze if you need to rest or not need rest, because we have a group of professionals performance doctor and us like a coaches, great structure in the federation that can assess you. We assess, we call Serginho. We assess Serginho. We talk with Serginho, and then we decide not to include him in the World Cup and not in the two-frame game. But like you all listen, he explained why he only wanted to be involved in 2 games and not in the World Cup. And that is very, I respect and I understand him. But I don't need that he understand our decision, because my position is I am 53 with a lot of experience in football, in soccer, and I was player before coach. And if you want to understand, I think it's really obvious. It's easy to understand that I want a roster to prepare 2 games, because for me, the Gold Cup is a really important competition. And that is not a problem, because I think you need to listen to the player. The communication is good with him like another. I have the same communication with Diego than with him. I'll not give the, I prioritize, and you say the best player. Yes, he's a good player, of course, but he needs to perform. Because I want to judge him like a Diego, like another. If he performs well and he is the best, it's normal, he's going to have a place in the national team. But it's not because player here, because I want to be, I want to play, I want to this, I want to that. I think when I signed my contract in the federation, I am the head coach. I am not a mannequin, you know. And look, that is how we are, and that is my culture about football. I grow up with a ball in mind, and I know very well. But the communication is very well, because in March I was talking a lot about the World Cup, a lot about the different things that I'm not going to discuss, because for me, when it's a private, it's a private. But yes, good communication with him and with that. What I am not going to do is to talk when the player won, and to say, no, you should call, you should this, you should travel. No. I am always open. Every time that the player contact me, I was in my way to operate, in my way to provide all the player and respect all the player, and to have respect to everyone, because now in a period that you need to, because I think with these 5 camps, 60 players that we start to see and to assess. Imagine I have no time to go to 60 different places, and then I don't want that Luna say to me, Diego, why you go to I don't know Columbus, and no, you didn't come to Salt Lake. Why you go to Milan and not to Turin? Why you go to this or that? I cannot divide myself. That is why my coaching staff was traveling a lot, and I say thank you for the effort, because yes or no, Diego. And when my staff go to visit Diego with my people, with different staff of the federation, that is my people, it's like I am there because I know everything. But I don't want to show that, oh, I care about Diego, but I don't care about Michael. And that is what, for me, respect and in football is my culture. But if Matt Turner called me and said, Coach, I want to talk with you, I want to have a dinner with you, I say, yes. When? Tomorrow, and I pay the dinner, no problem. But look, that is, I think is, look, I love to be in communication with my players, I love to communicate, but at the same time I want to keep that all the players feel the same respect from the coaching staff and from myself. If someone doesn't like this, okay, but it's we. We can win. We need to work together. We need to be all together. We. That sport is amazing because it's about we, not about I. It's about win. Diego, there's some question, because
Sí.
no, Diego, because
Profe, urge ganar sobre todo un torneo tan importante para Estados Unidos como es la Copa Oro.
urge llegar a la Copa del Mundo en las mejores condiciones con un equipo competitivo y en el proceso estamos, en ese proceso porque ese proceso comenzó en octubre y las circunstancias hacen que no hace 5 años que estemos 4 años trabajando con un grupo donde podamos conocer a todos los jugadores y ese proceso siempre es un proceso donde las circunstancias mandan más que muchas veces la capacidad que tengamos de... Y las derrotas son dolorosas, sí, pero tranquilo que sabemos dónde vamos y lo que hacemos y seguro que vamos a llegar dentro de un año con un equipo competitivo difícil de jugar.
A lo que iba es, ¿cuáles son las prioridades que le ha comunicado al equipo de cara a esa presión por ganar, por anotar goles, por jugar mejor? Para usted, ¿cuáles son las prioridades que le comunica al equipo para este torneo?
Las prioridades son progresar, son seguir en este continuo proceso de evaluación, de competir, de encontrar la forma de crear un grupo de jugadores que sientan de una misma forma, parecido, donde el equipo sea lo fundamental, lo importante, y que cada uno quiera poner lo mejor al servicio de ese equipo. Yo creo que eso es el ideal que buscamos ahora, porque un ejemplo, Platense en Argentina gana la liga en una final contra River, Boca, contra Huracán en la final. Nadie decía que podía ganar. Cuando los jugadores van a la rueda de prensa o cuando intervienen, ¿no? en comunicación dicen, hemos ganado porque la fuerza del grupo, todos, together, por la humildad, porque nadie pensó en sí mismo antes de pensar en el equipo, siempre pensamos en el equipo. Entonces cuando uno ve en eso dice, ¿en qué hay que trabajar? Primero en conseguir que el equipo sea un equipo, que el grupo de jugadores que quiera pertenecer, que lo más importante es que se resalte that we, that I, y entonces ahí es donde después vamos a poder crecer, pero sin eso no se puede crecer.
Diego, that question?
Yes, please.
Diego, so when we talk about, the need to win off of those 4 losses, but the opportunities for young players like yourself to come in like you have since the January camp and proven your worth, and now you have an opportunity to potentially be in the World Cup if you continue progressing. But what are the priorities that you see for this World Cup for yourself as a player and for the squad as a whole?
Yeah, I think, going into this tournament, right, in the present, I think it's focused on, showing out for our country and representing the country well. I think the pride and the hungriness that we need to show and the fight that I think is the biggest thing that I can say we're lacking right now. And I think that's something that we can take into this tournament to give, something for the fans and also for us as the players and the community to really put out a showing and show that, what is to come in the near future for us and this team.
Jeff Carlisle with ESPN. Question for both of you. Mauricio, what have your impressions been of Chris Richards so far? Not only in terms of his defending, but also as a leader. And then for Diego, obviously you're a local kid. How many friends and family are you going to have at the game tomorrow? And how big a thrill is it to put on that jersey in front of your family?
Yeah, I think it's awesome, right? To play in such a big tournament and have the first game be right in my in my hometown, in my home area, where I got a bunch of friends and family that have supported me from a young kid to me now, right? And I think it's especially cool to perform and do this in front of my family and all the people that have worked for me and helped me and suffered for me to be able to be in this position. So I think that's the coolest part for me. And yeah, I think it's just an honor in general. Right now I got probably like 30 tickets, but it could go up. If I could, I think I'd fill up, half the stadium. But
I got some extra if you need.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Chris, sorry. Yeah, Chris is growing a lot. I think to win a title in England also provide him more confidence. Yes, he's a very positive leader on the group. He's a great character. We all love him, and of course, he's a great player. And yes, he's helping a lot. Is what you expect from a player like him with his experience.
When a player, not just of the ability, but of the leadership that Christian has brought to the program, isn't here with you guys, how's the team of players attempted to fill that leadership as Mauricio attempts to rebuild the culture and all of that?
Yeah, I think, Christian being, a fantastic leader and an awesome dude in general, I think the strength of the team is to, even when players are missing and that are not here, is to, find the spirit, find the fight, because it's not just, it's not just one player, right? It's the team in general. So I think to fill that blank, where the guys stepping in and building that connection as a team is the most important thing. So having, whether it be, an individual, I think the collectiveness that everybody brings, the leadership on a daily basis, I think is the biggest thing that helps the team, grow in general. Yeah, I think guys are stepping up. I think we got leaders on and off the field, and I think the biggest thing is also just building that bond and the chemistry within the guys that really allows everyone to feel comfortable and feel free and understand the respect and the trust within a team to really create that bond on and off the field.
Hi, Diego. Hi, Diego. I know you've discussed the broken nose and how it was a life-changing moment for you, but you have mentioned the word fight a lot, and it showed a lot of fight from you, grit and hunger. Where does that come from when it comes to your game, and what are you motivated by?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me, the motivation is, strictly off, providing for my family. I think my parents have worked very hard for me, when I was younger, and hard days for them and tough times. I think that's the biggest thing at the top. Would be able to give back to my family whatever they've given to me, and then now having a son of my own has just brought another level to the motivation that I have inside. That it's now just I'm not playing just for fun or because I love it. It's to provide and to have keep my family provide for them. And I think the grit and the hunger that I have within me is just from my dad, I guess. Growing up, always playing ages up, playing against stronger, faster kids, getting knocked down all the time, play with my older siblings, just like always being kind of bullied on the field and stuff like that. And it's allowed me to build that strength and continue to fight and get mad and push through tough times when things aren't really going my way.
Happy early Father's Day.
Thank you so much.
Último.
Daniel Schwartzman, TUDN, gracias Michael. Hola Mauricio, si puedes hablarnos sobre cómo ayudaría un buen resultado a la confianza del equipo y si además de Tyler hay alguien más que esté como en duda para el partido de mañana.
Bueno, la confianza siempre se construye a través de los buenos resultados, ¿no? Pero también se construye a través de los procesos que están bien diseñados y bien planeados. Yo creo que el plan y el diseño de esta progresión que estamos teniendo es buena, más allá de los resultados y de las circunstancias. Como decía Diego antes, encontrar esos líderes que cada jugador pueda adherir al grupo, ese liderazgo personal que cada uno tiene, tener efecto dentro y fuera del campo, eso se logra con tiempo, eso se logra en un proceso donde no se pueden adelantar los tiempos. Entonces yo creo que eso es algo difícil de observar, la progresión o la positividad, pero solamente los que estamos dentro, en este grupo, vemos esa evolución que va a dar resultados. esperemos que los resultados se vean ahora, porque al final nuestros fans, nuestra gente, nuestra familia, todos queremos ganar, porque ganar es parte de nuestro ADN, de nuestra competitividad, por ser tan competitivos, porque este deporte es competir, te expone a competir de la mejor manera siempre, y es la adrenalina que tú tienes que sentir, ¿no? Cuando compites, y ganar te da una satisfacción que no te da otra cosa, ¿no? Entonces ahí en eso yo creo que es importante comenzar mañana con un buen resultado, porque daría un poco la certeza que estamos en ese camino importante de construcción, una base importante para ayudarnos en el futuro, en los próximos meses y en el próximo año, para terminar de definir esa base de jugadores que nos van a hacer competir y nos van a dar la posibilidad de tener también una posibilidad en la Copa del Mundo de estar en las posiciones que pensamos que podemos estar.
Thanks to Mauricio and Diego for their time, and thanks to all of you for joining. Remember, you can find the complete press conferences available on the CONCACAF Media Hub platform. Thanks. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you.